Hello friends of Claflin University and the Claflin Athletic Show. Keep up with us on the Claflin Athletic Show on INSiiGHTS Roku. Remember Thursdays are Claflin Day and it's all day, the Claflin way.
Claflin University has been the choice of thousands of students to help them prepare for a life of success and to realize their dreams.
Claflin has an amazing reputation of preparing the workforce here in the South Carolina region and globally. We know that your experience here at Claflin will be transformational.
The university has many articulation agreements with international institutions of higher education. Consider Claflin University as your choice because the world needs visionaries.
Like us on Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
Like us on Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
You understand. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mickey Clayton, the coach, and I'm here today with this edition of the Claflin Athletic Show. And being a former basketball coach, I try not to show favoritism, but man, I really love and enjoy talking to my basketball coaches, both the boys and the girls, men and the women, because of their experiences and things that they go through. And I always try to make sure that we show equal attention to both, having coached them both, and understand it. But Coach Dunlap here is a really good guy. He's done an excellent job with the program at Claflin. He and Coach Jenkins actually work well together, which isn't always the case. So when we say things like that, we want you to understand how significant it is. But with us today is Coach Dunlap, and I call him the legend. His modesty tries to smile and keep it going, but he's developing a legacy at Claflin University. Coach Dunlap, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having me. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. But what I also appreciate is your patience with us trying to work through some technical difficulties. And I know how valuable your time is. And I appreciate you kind of being very understanding to allow us to get to where we are.
Of course. We know things happen.
Coach, I appreciate it. I would like to, with Martin Luther King Day and the celebration for this week and all the things that he's done, I understand that Claflin and your basketball team had a part to do with the celebration and doing something yesterday or doing something on Monday. Would you share with the viewing audience what that was and why you got involved with it?
Yeah, we were invited to this MLK Invitational in Greenville, South Carolina, and it was a great event. It had a tournament type feel because there was multiple teams in there from different conferences, and we were able to play in the arena, which was positive for us since we play in the CIAA tournament in an arena at the end of the year, and we don't get to play in a lot of arenas throughout the course of the season. So having that opportunity to play in an arena and having our guys be in there and get the feel of a tournament type feel, it was very special for us, and to do it on MLK Day was even more special. Our guys went out there. We played hard. I thought we shot the ball well. I thought we did some good things. And I was very pleased with our effort and how the outcome came out. But also the biggest piece was, like I said before, about playing in the arena and understanding the difference of the depth perception and the backdrop when you shoot in an arena as opposed to just shooting in a regular gymnasium. It's huge for our guys, especially with our tournament being in Baltimore and an arena at the end of the season.
Okay, Coach, you didn't have that type of arena preparation this year that you made sure that your guys are going through this year. Is that because of the experience you had in going to the CIAA and trying to prepare them for that?
Definitely. We wanted to make sure so when we get there in Baltimore, we would have some comfort level and experience of playing in arenas and understanding when you get on that court and they lay that court down and finding that some of the dead spots that may be on the court or just seeing how the lighting is, but also then seeing the depth perception, but mainly just really just locking in and focusing on our target and and when you're shooting the basketball. So, it's kind of a little bit like playing outside. When you play outside, you want to try to get to the basket, but you also, if you're good enough to make jump shots outside and you're going to be able to make them in the arena, it'll make it better for you, I believe. So the more opportunities that we've had 3 opportunities thus far this year to play in arenas, which I've been happy about, and our guys have played well for the most part in each setting. So it's been a good thing for us, and hopefully it'll carry over throughout the remainder of the season. And then when we get to Baltimore, late February, early March, it'll do us some justice.
Okay, but that sound rational coach speak there. Able to make that adjustment. You look at how your season went last year, because, ladies and gentlemen, the men's team came out on fire last year and didn't quite have the finish that we were hoping for. And one of the things that's obvious that coach has decided he needed to prepare his team with was to try to get them in front of that arena type atmosphere that they'll see at the CIAA. Coach, what else have you done as you look back on last year and try to prepare them for this year?
Well, mainly just we talk about, cliche wise, we talk about stacking days and controlling what we can control. Don't put any unnecessary obstacles in front of us, but just one possession at a time and one day at a time. And we can stack possessions and stack good days. Then hopefully the results will take care of itself at the end of the day. And that's the main thing we focus on. I think a little bit because of the early success that we had and the way that we were playing. I think the guys were last year's team. We were so excited about let's just get to Baltimore, probably mid-February. And when we got there, we had lost some of our steam a little bit because I think we had missed some. We stopped stacking good days together, and we just kind of like plateaued. This year, I think we have the opportunity to continue to do that now in January, and we got to continue to harp on that as we go into February as well. So hopefully the result isn't the same as it was last year.
Well, you also said something, Coach, that was really key. They were so excited just to get there. And so I'm sure what you did was realign their goals and calibrate that GPS a little bit better so that getting there is expected, but we want to win it when we get there.
Yes, sir. We have our team goals and we have our standards that we want to live up to. And that's part of it too. Each and every day, we just try to go out and match our standards, meet them and match them in the sense of our work ethic, how we're going to prepare. So we'll be ready for the game that's in front of us and then just take care of that game. We don't, even as a coach and as tight as our schedules can be at times, with us having played on Monday and we play again tomorrow and then play again on Saturday. I don't look ahead. I don't look and peek at the other opponent. I make sure I respect the opponent that's in front of us, and I make sure our guys do the same thing. And we don't talk about anyone else other than ourselves and who we're playing. And we will continue to do that throughout the year, and to make sure that we are focused on Claflin standards and meeting our standards each and every time out.
Okay, Coach. How different is this year's team than the highly successful team that you had last year?
Just a year older with our guys that played for me last year for the first time playing with me and for me. So now those guys that returned, they understand what I ask of. They understand who I am. They understand my personality. So it's easier for them to convey that to the guys who are newer this year. But I think our Virgin Islands trip really did a great job for us and a huge thing for us with our team bonding. I think we grew closer. We became so much closer. And I told that to the guys, and our play has kind of shown that our togetherness is better. Our toughness is better. And hopefully we're going to continue to just try to build on that so that it continues to lead us in the direction that we want to go so we can meet our goals that we've set for ourselves.
I want to make sure that everybody kind of understands what Coach is referencing. And I think part of what you're talking about is that trip you made to the Virgin Islands.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Would you talk a little bit about that, Coach?
Yeah, it was big. We were able to play 2 games out there at Virgin Islands. We won the first one. We lost in the semifinals game to a tough Virginia State team who we happened to beat on this past Saturday. but we lost him by 2 points there. It was a tight game. It was a heavyweight fight out there, and we battled back and forth. And after the game was over, in the locker room, the guys were, they were upset. We had lost some games prior to that, and we were upset. But that game, it was different. It felt different. And I think the reason why it felt different was because of the closeness and the bond that we had continued to form when we were out there, just being together on the beach, having dinner together, having talks together, things of that nature. And it showed on the court. And then when we came up short, I think everybody felt it for each other, not so much for themselves, but they felt it for each other, which is great from my point of view. That now we're playing for the next person beside us, and this person with the same color jersey on that's representing Claflin, as opposed to playing for myself.
Coach, I'm going to ask you to elaborate a little bit more, because people oftentimes hear about team bonding, but they don't really understand the significance of what that is within a team. And, you kind of touched on it, I think, a little bit when you said that, they felt it for each other. And just kind of, I don't want to put words, kind of tell me a little and tell your audience a little bit more about team bonding and what that actually means to your team in terms of moving forward and playing as such.
Well, just mainly just for us, it was just being around each other more, as opposed to just being in practice or being in weights or conditioning, things of that nature, where, it's required because you're on the team. But now when we were in that setting, being around each other and learning who we are as individuals, and just interacting, just laughing, just joking, just hanging out, and being around each other and feeling each other's presence, as opposed to just only being on the court where it's competitive. And yes, we're still in it for the same goal, and we know each other's game and we learn each other. But I can know you on and off the court, and then we bring that togetherness that we formed and that tightness that we formed off the court onto the court, then you will play better, because then my trust factor is going up. And I know that you have my back. I know that you're going to be there when you say you're going to be there. And then that carries over off the court as well, that if I ever need something, I'm willing to get my shirt off my back for you. So just that togetherness that we created and we will continue to create, and we've continued to create.
Under the 16.5-minute mark here, Stewart. Stewart just inside the three-point line. That is partially blocked by Akwu.
I think it's shown on
as Stewart is pushed to the bench.
On film and in games we've been playing. And we lost a tough one to Benedict last week, but same thing. After the game, the guys were visibly upset with the loss, but just also more so, sometimes you lose game and you're upset because you didn't play well. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a selfish type of act, but it's just the competitiveness in you. But then there's times when you lose games, when you're connected as a group, that you're upset that we lost, regardless of how you played. You could have had the best game of your life, and we lost a game, but it's like you have so much pain because we lost, and your brother next to you, we lost, and we're prepared so hard, and we just came up short, and you don't want to have that feeling again for your teammate. You don't want to have that feeling again for your brother, so you want to make sure I do everything possible so we don't have those feelings again. I got to make sure I'm getting to class on time. I make sure I'm in study hall. Make sure I'm getting the weights and I'm getting my shots up, things of that nature. So we can't say that we shorted ourselves at any point for the remainder of the season.
Well, I think that was an excellent, detailed response, Coach. I hope that everybody understand that, because I felt it. And having coached, a lot of times you take for granted that you think that's going to be the case all the time with a team. But and I know that it takes a lot of work to build that camaraderie within your team, because when you don't have it, it can tear your team apart quicker than anything else.
And to be honest with you, I thought early on in the season that was something that was missing, our connectivity, and it showed on the road against good opponents. They picked us apart at times, and we kind of weren't as together as we should have been. And it hurt us. But now that we have continued to grow closer and closer together, and we will continue to do that, is making us a better team, and we will continue to be a better team going forward.
Coach, I love how this is going, and because I wanted to touch a little bit on recruiting, but I need you to explain a little bit about how somebody's selfish play or attitude with their coach or teammates, if you're observing them as a potential candidate for your program, how that can adversely affect you in terms of how you recruit them, because you have to take that personality and put it in with your team. So kind of talk a little bit about recruits and transfers that are actually watching this and looking at it, and tell them a little bit about the things that would be or a turn off to college coaches, and particularly to you.
Well, one of the things that we stress as a team is our balanced attack, and the thing we say every day on game day is let's eat, EAT, and it stands for effort, attitude, and toughness. And those are the three things that we want to bring each and every day. But we want guys who want to be a part of a team and understand what team means. Doesn't mean that you can't have shine and won't have good days and things of that nature, but it means that everything that I do, and if I do it negatively, it doesn't just affect me; it affects everyone else that's with us and that's a part of our program. So, one of the things we say is don't do anything to hurt yourself or hurt the team, because if you do something to hurt yourself, then ultimately it's going to hurt the team because you're a part of our basketball program, our basketball family. So we want guys who want to be successful, but want to do it with others. And we happen to play a team sport. It's 5 guys on the court at all times, and you have to be one of those 5, and you have to be in there to help and be a piece to put that puzzle together so that 5 can be the strongest 5 out there on the court. So so we want to make sure that we bring in those type of high character and caliber student athletes that want to be a part of something that's bigger than them. Because when you're a part of a team in a program, it's not just about you; it's about everyone, and it is bigger than you. But we also want to have you grow with us and take us to another level that's even bigger than the levels that we've been on thus far. So once again, that makes it bigger than you again. So we want guys who like, for lack of term, playing with others and want to be involved with others and want to see others succeed just as much as they want to see themselves succeed.
Okay, well put, Coach. And speaking of that and the team attitude and balance attack that I know you look for within your team, Virginia State overtime game, one of the most exciting games that you had, and I'm hearing you say that you lost to them in the Virgin Islands, and I'm sure that was on the guys' mind, and you got to an overtime win over them, and you had a young man on your team, your senior Brion Dennis, who just said he was not going to let the team lose. He had to do whatever he had to do. And Coach, he hit the 3 for you and played magnificently for you. Tell us about that, Coach.
Yeah, we tried to not make it a redemption game from what we had done in the Virgin Islands and coming up short. We just wanted the guys to concentrate on the game that was in front of us. That was a different time. It was almost a month ago, and both teams are at different places right now. So with that being said, we just wanted to concentrate on the possessions that were in front of us. We came out early on, and Zion Abamla, he carried us early. We went to him as a focal point early in the game, and he was able to put us on his back a little bit, and then Bryson got going. And I think really, to be honest with you, it was because of the approach that we went early with Zion being able to make plays and attack, and then it allowed Bryson and some other guys to be able to get off and make some plays. And then once Bryson got going, we just kept feeding him, and then the ball just kept finding in his hands in crucial opportunities and crucial situations, and he stepped up and made the plays. With him being a senior and understanding what we went through last year, and he was part of that team last year that got us off to a hot start, and saw us wilt a little bit toward the end. I understand what's in Bryson's chest. I understand how he's built, and with where he comes from, and how bad he wants to win. And in that game, it was a certain feel. And then once he started making a couple of shots, and I'm just like, well, let's keep going to him. And like I said, he just kept making them, and we were happy for him to continue to do that. And we were glad he was able to do it because he made a big one to send us into overtime. And then after that, we were able to control the game in overtime and come out with the victory.
Coach, I feel you're trying to subdue that excitement a little bit, but Coach, what was it like on the bench with his teammates to see him get it rolling like that?
Oh, they just kept saying, "Let's eat, keep eating, keep eating." So they just kept going with the motto, and it was it seemed like every time the ball left his hands, everybody thought it was going in, and it felt that way
They
too.
wasn't standing up with their hands and fingers in the air, were they?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, every time he shot it, it was like it was going in. And half the time, I think some of them, before he even shot it, when he just touched the ball, they thought the ball was going to go in the basket. But he was just in the zone, and you could just tell by. And he had shot the ball well, and we had practiced there the night before, and then shooting around, he had shot the ball well, and then before the game, he had shot the ball well too, and we did as a team, which I was happy about. So when the shots were going in, you could just tell the confidence kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. And Bryce is a confident player anyway. So the confidence kept growing. And like I said, when the opportunity presented himself and he felt he had a clean look, he let it go. And it was more positive than it was negative.
Coach, that had to be something. I'm not going to belabor the point, but that was at Virginia State, so they usually draw pretty good over there.
Yeah, it was a tough game. It was our first true road win on another opponent's floor, so that was big. And then also having to be in a conference opponent, that was big. And then just the way the game went early on, we were pretty much in control, and then they came back and they took control, and it was kind of like we were going to win it first, and then they took over. They were going to win, and then we made the shot to tie it, and then we were able to, like I said, to just hold down overtime and come out with the victory.
And Coach, you've won 4 out of your last 5. 24. Once that clock struck 12, your guys have really been rolling.
Yeah, we came in. I was that first day of practice after the new year. I was like, "Hey, fellas, 23 is over. The mistakes and the things that we did in 23, let's not make them again. The obstacles that we put in front of ourselves, and adversity and the holes that we dug ourselves in at times, let's not do that anymore. Let's build and let's grow. Let's learn from those times. Let's learn from those mistakes, and let's get better. And then apply what we've learned and put it on the floor each and every day in practice, and then carry it over to the games so we can hopefully get the results that we're looking for and that we're trying to achieve. And thus far, we've been able to do that. And that's the thing. We're just going to continue to try to stack those good days and even the bad days. Try to eliminate them, but learn from them so that we can come back and have a good day. And so then we can prepare ourselves the best way that we know how. So then when it's time to put the product on the court, we can hopefully come out on top more times than not.
Okay, Coach, you got a real tough schedule coming up. I mean, you're in the middle of the conference, and you can't even relax too much in terms of what you did because you got another hurdle you have to jump right over you, Coach. Coach, tell us about it. How do you keep them focused?
Well, I as a former player, it's easy for them because they're like, oh, we get one day of practice and we get to play again. So they're enjoying it. I know the guys are enjoying it just because practices are for the coaches. That's our time, and that's our time to continue to sharpen our irons a little bit and sharpen our knives and make us better. But the guys want to play, and I respect that, and I love that competitive spirit that they have. So the more we can play, the better it is for them. But we'll prepare today. We have a tough one tomorrow night versus Livingstone, and then we have a tough one Saturday against Winston-Salem State. Fortunately for us, both of those are at home. So, but we get to close out this week with 2 home games against 2 conference opponents that are very tough. And we're going to we have to make sure we prepare properly today and mentally as well as physically, and do what we need to do to prepare for Livingstone tomorrow so that we can come out and put our best foot forward.
Yes, sir. And then we get towards the end of the month, which you can't look too far ahead, but you got the Pause Up Classic coming. And that's like a second homecoming because everybody comes out pretty good. I've seen that myself.
Definitely. January 27th, Pause Up Classic versus John C. Smith. It ought to be a good one. They've been playing really well. So the South Division in the CI has been very tough. Everybody's been playing well, and it's gonna be a fight throughout the remainder of the year, throughout the remainder of the season. And like I said, we just have to prepare ourselves as best as we can mentally and physically. So any game we walk into, in any situation, we're ready to go.
Okay, Coach, in closing, explain to us a little bit about the CIAA regular season. You play everybody in your division twice and out of the division once. What?
Yeah, so we have 13 teams, so we're split. We have a Northern Division and a Southern Division. So we play everybody in the Northern Division one time, and then we play everybody in our Southern Division twice throughout the regular season. And then you get seeded according to how you finish going to the CIAA tournament.
Okay, so you get seated within your division, and you play the corresponding team.
Yeah, the way it is set up this year, yes, yeah. In those first round games and quarterfinal games.
Okay, so 4 would play 1 in the other division, and 1 would play 4 in the other division.
Mostly, yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which do you think is the most competitive this year?
Right now, I mean, the South has I believe every team is above 500 in their conference record.
Wow.
So so everybody's been playing well, and the North, everybody's kind of like lumped together as well. Virginia State is leading the North, and so once again, it was a huge victory for us to just be able to knock off the top seed currently in the North right now. But it's gonna be a dogfight the remainder of the year. Like I said, everybody's playing well. Everybody's a year older, especially with all the new coaches that were in the league last year, and the guys that they had brought in. So those guys are a year older and more knowledgeable underneath the coach's system as well. So it's been, you look at the scores every night at the end of the night, and there's when someone gets beat, I don't call it an upset. It's just we have good teams throughout the league. We have good coaches and we have good players, and if you don't show up that night and do what you're supposed to do and play to your standards and to your level, then most likely you might get knocked off. So every day is a huge day to prepare and get better and continue to grow. And every game is you have to bring it, or you're gonna come up on the short end of the stick.
Ladies and gentlemen, you hear right there from Coach Dunlap. 4-1 in the league right now, Coach, correct?
Yes, sir.
See, and he realized that where he is right now isn't where he wants to be. He wants to be better and to win when he gets to that CIAA tournament.
Yes, sir.
Coach, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us. We'll see you at the end of the month. And between now and then, when the time I see you, Coach, I hope you keep it rolling and that the Panthers keep controlling the jungle.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and we're going to continue to get better so we can keep it rolling.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you, and see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
You are listening to Mr. King.